Hi, Kraber, you're watching GK, and I kind of want to try something out. So right now I have RetroArch open and as well as Steam, and that's because I'm actually wanting to try out and see if I can maybe get a PlayStation 2 disc running on my PC. You know, have a basic, really basic DVD drive sitting over here, a really old basic school computer, literally. You can check out my main channel for more information. But yeah, I heard that there is some way to be able to play it. I know it's not necessarily the best, but I'm just very curious. I want to see if this could actually work. If it does, and if it works really well, then I might even actually consider not having to get a PlayStation 2, since, you know, I have literally everything else except an actual PlayStation 2. But if it doesn't work well, then that's fine. Doesn't really matter anyway. I'm still probably gonna have to get that PlayStation 2. So yeah, let's see how this little experiment works. So for the game that I'll be using for this nice little experiment, I have none other than a very old but also very pristine copy of NASCAR Thunder 2003. To put a long story short, my dad bought this many years ago thinking that he could play a PlayStation 2 game on a PC, which, as you can imagine, didn't really work out, and he ended up abandoning this game for, well, many years until I came across it, and now it's mine. It's all mine. Yeah, let's get to work on this thing. See, now the funny thing is I technically have two versions of RetroArch. This one is the Steam version, and right now the one that I've currently installed and that I'm currently going to try out is the one that I've used for, what's it called? The installer version. Now the thing is that the basic desktop version is a little bit different from the Steam version, most likely because, you know, certain policies and stuff, but I'm gonna try and see if either one of them work out. Again, the goal is that I can insert this disc into here and get it running at the very least on the PSC SX32, whatever the hell emulator out there, which I'll show and try and test out in a little bit. But for now, let's see if it can work on RetroArch. Okay, so I'm using the desktop version, the normal standard desktop version. I'm gonna try and insert the disc now that I have what is supposed to be a PlayStation 2 emulator thingy running, and I'm gonna see if it can detect this little disc thing here. Potentially, it probably might not end up detecting, which again is fine, it's expected, but we'll just have to wait and see and take a look. I don't know. All right then, let's first insert the disc. This guy right here, let's open them up. Like I said, everything about it is really pristine, really good condition. Can't really tell because the lighting and stuff, but not like I'm gonna turn on all the lights. Who does that nowadays, huh? Again, this is a one last look at the disc. It's really nice, really pristine, really clean. Now we just open this drive. This drive's a little bit finicky, but at least it works. There we go. And now, just push it in. That probably means that the disc is being read right now. Oh, there we go. So it pops up here. The stuff that, you know, the data. Wait, actually, let me re-angle this camera. Hold on, my fault. So as you can see right over there, we can see that it's definitely reading the files. It recognizes that it exists, but it's not in what I guess you could say a readable format, at least not yet. So we're gonna have to go ahead and take a look and see if it can run the disc. Let's see. Load a core first. Oh, my fault. PlayStation 2. Load disc. And if this works, okay, so I've made a bit of a critical misjudgment. Turns out I can't use either RetroArch versions for this. I have to use the PCSX230 thing to get this thing working, which, I mean, I'm not strongly against anyway, but it's a little bit of a shame. I personally thought that maybe I would have been able to, you know, actually run some programs, but nonetheless, I'm not mad about it. So now if I open this, go to system, click start disk, theoretically it should boot. Oh, there's no way. It's reading the disk. It says NASCAR Thunder 2003 in the corner. I don't know if the camera can. Oh, crap.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
This actually works.
NASCAR Thunder 2003.
That's crazy. Wait, I'm actually shocked. So I guess my theory was right. I could actually straight up just run PlayStation 2 games on here. That's wild. So technically, I don't even need a PlayStation 2. And considering the fact that I know this emulator also does support PS2 controllers, that means that not only do I not need a PlayStation 2, I also don't even need a PlayStation 2 in general. Like, everything I need is right here. That's crazy. Well, at least I answered the question. Now, usually this is where I wrap up the video, basically just say, oh yeah, well, I did this thing, now get the hell out of here. But I actually decided to take this a little bit of a step further. So first off, Steam. And more specifically, about what Steam can do. See, Steam, other than being a gaming marketplace, as you can see right here with the Steam store, is also technically a launcher. Let me explain and let me elaborate. So as you can see with all of these games right here, as you can see, I bought the Valve collection. You can see that a lot of them are all obviously Steam games, right? But technically what these all are just a bunch of .exe files that when I, let's say, click on Modern Warfare 2, I just click play and then it just starts loading. So click play right now, give it a few seconds, it's gonna start, see, look, it's gonna start booting up. And what's gonna happen is that it's gonna contact the .exe file and it's just gonna go, hey, here's the .exe file, you know, we're just gonna boot it up. See, you can see everything else is going as is. So Steam actually allows you to load your own custom files. Let me actually quit the game real quick. So yeah, Steam allows you to still run your own custom files and programs without the need of having to kind of just go over to the start menu and do all this good stuff. So you click add game, click add non-Steam game, and you can see that it loads a list of a bunch of like softwares that you that aren't, by the way, that aren't you know, Steam related. See, you can see Code Blocks, you know, Circuit Maker. These are programs that I use to do things like coding. Internet Explorer, nobody uses that. OBS, you know, stuff like that. And the best part about it is that I can add these programs. And look what happens when I add them. They end up being part of the library. Look, if I scroll down, boom, OBS Studio, boom, Opera GX. And the best part about it is I can take a step further. Once again, if I click play here, it acts as a launcher. It just contacts the .exe. It takes a minute to get it running properly, but you can see it boots up perfectly fine. So I decided to take this a bit of a step further. Because not only can you add these programs in, you can also set your own custom background and logo. So with a quick Google search, plus, you know, some good old adjustments, I'm able to basically turn any program into a Steam app, technically. Now you might be wondering, why do I even want to do all this hard work just for something that honestly doesn't really make that much sense? Well, here's the thing. Because of one simple feature. Right here, big picture mode. When I click big picture mode, what it does is that it basically turns your whole computer into a console operating system. Since all it's using is just the SteamOS deck UI, but just reformatted, or I guess re-supported for PCs specifically. And seeing as how this PC is actually really, really old, it's basically just kind of a slightly more powerful Xbox One. And even then, that's calling it a bit of a stretch. So because of that, assuming that, you know, let's say I were to replace it with a new computer and I suddenly now have a giant heap of junk lying around, unless I don't want to turn it into a server, I can also turn it into essentially a giant media hub. Think about it. I have a little disk drive right here that I can use to play DVDs, and of course, course, games like the NASCAR game that you saw earlier. And on top of that, I have Steam, which can not only just load games, but also load any custom program that I want. Add a little bit of a keyboard and mouse and somewhere to put that keyboard and mouse, and suddenly you basically just have a smart TV for a fraction of the cost. Not to mention that it actually looks really cool. See these programs right here, including the PCS X2 emulator as well as this. These are not the actual programs. These are just a bunch of programs that I added onto the Steam launcher to make it look like such. If I were to move my thingy over here, press enter, it looks like as if this is the actual application, but it's not. And then I press escape, I get out of here, I go over to this one. It again looks like as if it's part of it, but again, it's not. I go over to RetroArch. This is the different one, by the way, not the one that comes with Steam. Again, it's not actually the original Steam version. This is a custom program. So again, I can kind of just set any of these to whatever I want and then basically just have a smart TV for a fraction of the cost, which in the long run is not only very efficient, and after a while of getting everything set up, now I have officially added Opera GX and OBS onto here. By the way, if you want to take a look at any of the artworks, go over to this website. Let me zoom in actually. SteamGridDB.com. That's where I got all these artworks from, by the way. So, it's really cool. And for the final result, I'm going to plug in this controller real quick, and we're going to see how it looks with the full console experience. Let me also get my tripod too. Give me a second. All right, so this is the full experience. Let me take a quick minute to plug in my controller, and we can both enjoy this little mixed experience together. I say mixed because in a perfect world, I would have been able to do everything using only the controller, I guess, kind of, but, it's fine. Let's use a little bit of the keyboard as well. Just a little bit, not preferred. So yeah, let's see, look. All of these still work surprisingly well. And if I were to, let's say, select PCSX2, press play, it takes me straight over to this version. Now I want to figure out, I'm going to try and figure out some way to kind of force it to go big picture mode, because this can go into big picture mode in such a way where it can like seamlessly transition, but for now this is bearable. And now as I wait for Steam to load back to the menu, we're going to take a look at some other things as well, kind of enjoy ourselves a little bit. Yeah, see, look, got all of this set up. Got Minecraft, which is, by the way, totally a very legit version of the game. I don't know about you, but it's very, very much legit. Don't look at what it says. Don't look at what it's called. It's definitely very okay. Yeah, and then finally, all these other stuff. All of these other random games and programs that I've yet to actually play. And of course, go over to the library. You see all of the cool things I got. Surprisingly, these games all support controller. Have yet to play any of them, except for maybe Half-Life. Should probably try and play that on the controller sometime. But yeah, there's all of these guys, and that's very cool. Yeah, I think that's gotta be it. See ya.